All right. Let's make sure that this is doing what it's supposed to be doing in the background. Just 1 second. There we go. There we go. So, I wanted to go ahead and come live real quick. Talk about a few things. Make sure that there's audio. 1 second. Got to check back periodically since we know that my YouTube handler, I'm going to call him Steve. My YouTube handler, Steve, that I've been assigned, loves to play games with, audio. Even though I have a microphone that I can see the volume, sometimes volume doesn't sometimes go through, does it, Steve? You're probably up there right now. I don't know. Somebody came and then dropped. That's interesting. Must have been Steve and put himself on private mode. But I just want to say, fuck you, Steve. Fuck you. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this real quick. First and foremost, I have done something I am extremely proud of, which is I have applied all of my thoughts and feelings and analysis associated with YouTube, and it's now been applied to my decision making. So I have went through the potential death of YouTube. Let me switch this up real quick. Well, I can't do it here, but if you were to go to my channel, because I'm in private mode on this window, so I'm not gonna log in. But if you were to go to my channel now, you would notice that there is absolutely no creative works anymore. None of my creative works, i.e. my video poems or my beats or any of that stuff, is up. All of that stuff is going to be transitioned over to Vimeo. Every last bit of it. YouTube is a horrible platform, media company, co-publisher. My personal belief is that they are a co-publisher, and as a co-publisher, I'm uninterested in assisting or allowing my content to be co-published by YouTube. So what I've done is I've taken all of my content the fuck off of this platform. And if they want to put ads or promote videos of mine of any sort of nature, they can promote my political videos. They can promote that. They can put ads on my political views. They can have an incentive to promote that. All of my other videos with thousands and thousands of views on them, like my Charlie Murphy one that had like 48,000 views, that shit is deleted because I ain't putting my shit on this platform like that anymore. And why am I not putting my shit on this platform anymore? Well, it's not enough to make a summary of what something is. You got to act on it, right? So it makes no sense for me to sit up here on this platform analyzing what this platform is, the dangers of the platform, the lack of responsibility granted to it by its exemption from Section 230. My suspicions that a large amount of white supremacists are behind the YouTube content censorship handles, literally to my personal danger, and the fact that they allowed an individual to continue a show on their platform after that person broke several laws in the process of revealing my personal information and encouraging thousands of viewers to call into police. for a wellness check, as well as the the slander associated with questioning my mental health after revealing my personally identifiable details. Once you go through all of that and you realize that YouTube is a horrible platform, you gotta act. It's one thing to sit up here and say, "Oh my God, YouTube is censoring me," and then you're still religiously posting on YouTube, right? Like, for instance, as I talk to you right now, I'm looking at my backroom stage, which I'm gonna have to, unfortunately, my personal double check to make sure that Steve isn't fucking around with the audio. But I could easily just hit end stream right now and do it mid sentence, and it would sound and almost look like YouTube is the one that did it, right? A la the Black Authority, right? I could hit end on OBS software. If you don't know what OBS software is the actual software that you use in order to broadcast your broadcast your screen to YouTube. If I were to hit stop streaming right now, it would look like, oh my God, YouTube stopped the stream. But I've already shown in previous video examples of what happens with a community guideline strike. And with my own personal example, that they did not in any way, shape, fashion, or form private his video. By the way, that video, when I was going through and downloading all of my videos before I deleted them, that video, even though it says that it's, which you could tell that Steve was listening to me while I was talking, and that's the reason why it popped back up when I was doing the death of YouTube video, and I had to do the part 2 because it popped back up. It popped back up, but I couldn't actually download it because they had already deleted it. So there was an opportunity for me to appeal the guideline strike on the video. You know, the video where I was doing an educational video with copyrighted content, but an educational video using content that's already on the platform, that's completely protected in the process of me doing so. And they decided to end that stream, that 4-hour stream. They also decided to delete the video. But then apparently Steve heard me talking while I was talking the last time in the last little stream. So he popped it back up to try to make me out to be a liar. So I went ahead and made sure I recorded that the fact that it popped back up. And I showed the fact that it was showing up when I edited or organized my videos by date. It was somehow showing up at the bottom and not floating back up to the top, right? Where the date should have had it at. And then when I tried to download it today or tonight, I realized that the video was actually deleted. So they wanted me to appeal it, and the appeal was rejected. But the appeal was rejected because the video was already deleted, which is a question as to whether or not it truly is deleted. What's up, ISIS? It's a question of whether or not it's already deleted, but it doesn't really matter. Because when you find out who a person is, you got to act accordingly. It's not okay to just sit up there and just say, well, this person is this way or this person is that way, right? A large amount of relationships continue beyond their expiration date because a person figures out who that person is, but they fail to act. They fail to actually do shit with the information that they know they have, right? So I know that YouTube is a janky co-publisher, right? But it's a very good testing ground and it's a very good storage facility, right? Even though I'm noticing also that when I actually downloaded my videos, which is what I suspected, but when I actually downloaded my videos were like 20 megabytes, 40 megabytes. So they either were only allowing me to download a certain version of the video, but it confirmed to me that they were completely converting my video to a lower state, right? I don't think I have a video when I'm going through these videos, first of all, I'm doing the video editing because they're not just beats, right? I'm not just taking somebody else's beat and throwing a video to it. They actually all have personal meaning. I can actually go and dissect the personal meaning behind those videos for a very long time because, you know, they're works of subconsciousness. But it's not just that I'm grabbing music and I'm grabbing a video and I'm throwing them together. I'm actually editing them in order for them to actually have that higher meaning. It's not just simply just even the color purple one I had up. That one was that has a shit ton of meaning, and it's edited in a way. For instance, it opens with the line of I think God gets jealous if you walk by the color purple in a field and you don't notice it, right? I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in the field and you don't notice it. All right, and then the other person says, "Well, what you saying? It just want to be loved like anybody. It just want to be loved." And he's like, "Yeah, Celia, you just want to be loved, just like everybody else." Okay, so my ex-wife's favorite color was purple, and Celia in that situation is me, right? It's not actually my ex-wife; it's actually me. So the whole idea is that that's an opposite. It's a flip, right? It's a flip. In my mind, I'm actually not speaking to my guardian angel. I'm speaking to a devil. And that devil in this opposite world is telling me, hey, don't walk by this person and, you know, this color purple, right? Try to love it. Try to stop and love it, right? You don't get those higher meanings by mistake. Those higher meanings are there on purpose, right? So I'm putting in all this effort, I'm putting all this energy, I'm putting all this stuff into my work, but why would I put that on a janky co-publishing platform? That makes no sense. If I know what YouTube is, right, then why would I continue using it for at least and definitely my creative stuff, right? So the other thing is, I just noticed that there was like a access to my account by an IP address that is labeled as originating from Iran. In both my YouTube linked email account as well as my regular Gmail account. Don't worry, YouTube and Google. I will be switching my email address very shortly. If you think that you're gonna fuck around and try to delete messages from my account, that's do what you gotta do. I have backups of all of my shit on my personal laptop. Shouts out to Outlook. But I'll be switching my email as well, because you have to realize, like, by fucking around with monopolies, which is what YouTube and ultimately Google and Alphabet and a large amount of these other companies are, by fucking around with monopolies, you put yourself in a large amount of danger so far as your creative content is concerned, right? Like, if you think about it, if YouTube shuts down your Gmail account, if YouTube decides to shut down your whatever, all right, and your YouTube account and your Gmail account associated with it, especially if you use your Gmail account or that Gmail account that you're having associated with it for work, it could completely screw you up in a large amount of ways. So by obviously stating that YouTube is a monopoly, or that Google, in my opinion, is also a monopoly, then I need to make sure I diversify my exposure to this monopoly, especially when from their media arm of their interlinked monopoly is showing itself to be very unreliable and very unethical, right? Then I have to act. And so every single music video, well, not music video, a video poem any sort of beat making or any of that shit is off of that platform. I think the only thing I have to delete right now is the remainder of my live sessions that are associated with that. I think they actually may be taken off right now. Let me double, triple check. Yeah, I need to delete some of my remainder of my content from the live sessions I did. Oh, ain't that special? All these network interrupts. All these network interrupts that occurred. It looks like Steve was mad that I was downloading and deleting content, so he decided to do a whole bunch of network interrupts. Aw. Steve, it doesn't matter. I have the actual videos, buddy. I was just doing that as a backup. I actually have the real videos, buddy. Aw. Look at them. All these little network interrupts, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It doesn't matter there, Steve. I have the actual videos. I'm never going to use your videos or those highly compressed videos, but for anything other than just a simple backup. But I have the actual 300 megabyte videos that I can upload to my Vimeo platform and actually provide the actual 300 megabyte video directly to the people who I want to show it to. And so, which is a representative of accurate representation of my artistic work. So I really don't need your little videos, but that's okay. That's okay. So the only other thing I need to do is delete the remainder of the live session videos, and I will be, all of my creative content at the very least will be the fuck off of this platform. So I'm happy about that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to start, ooh, server unreachable. Look at that. It's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful there, Steve, but it doesn't matter because I actually have all of these videos. If you think I don't, that's quite stupid. I have all of these videos, so I'm good. But anyways, you have to act, right? And so what I'm going to talk about a little bit in this little time on this, behind enemy lines is probably what I should rename this channel to. Is the fake alliances that YouTube has with certain people, right? So, or fake enemy associations that people have with certain people. So, if you look at Kwame Brown's little latest fucking video, I would play it, but I'm just not going to, because I think that would be what Steve wants, and I'm not going to give Steve what he wants. But if you look at this video right here, there's a large amount of problematic shit that actually occurred in this video. A large amount of problematic shit that happened in this video. First of all, what you'll learn is that Kwame Brown goes into more detail about his black conservatism. I mean, I'm just going to label it directly from what it is. So, right, he's linked, and this is why the Black Authority got his panties in a bunch and couldn't control his emotions. Is because he's linked to Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown is linked to the Black Authority, and the Black Authority is linked to Professor Black Truth, and those two individuals are also linked to Tariq Nasheed. There's a nice little through line through all of these people. Even you have a double back link between Kwame Brown and Boyce Watkins, which is who he brought up as well here, talking about he's about to send a headshot over to that weirdo gossiper. What's her name? I don't know. The chick from Real Housewives of Atlanta who was talking about Phaedra was a criminal. That chick, Angela Stanton. There you go. And that he's going to be on a panel in Miami, and that he was going to be on a panel with Boyce Watkins, and didn't really have any smoke for that statement. He was just sort of throwing that statement out there that he's going to be on a panel with Boyce Watkins talking about something. So sorry, gotta always check on Steve. He's a feisty little rat of a YouTube employee. Got to make sure that he's not doing anything crazy. But anyways, so that's what I was talking about. So let's handle this. So he's also talking about, well, YouTube is doing something bad to me and YouTube is censoring me just because they put his video up on an age restriction. And I mean, I can click on the video because I'm private right now. And so I'm not signed in, so I can show you what that age restriction looks like to other people. So it will require you to sign in order for you to see the video, but I'm not going to do that right now. They age restricted the video and blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, honestly, let's just be real, Kwame. With the topics that you were talking about in the video, even as a commentary, I wouldn't want my child watching that shit. I know you're doing commentary on Leonard, talking about penises and erect penises and stuff like that, and you want to show this, but we'll talk about that in a second. But just on a basic face value, that was actually appropriate for YouTube to have censored you in that way, if you want to call that censorship. But well, there's so much I was going to talk about. How do I put this? Yeah, let's just go there. We'll go there before my memory fades, because it's kind of like it's kind of straight to the point. So Boyce Watkins and his stupid behind wanted to let's just go there. Let's just go there, and we'll link those two things together, and you'll realize that why this bullshit is the way it is. So I don't want to put doctor. Let's say Boyce Watkins and what's that little boy's name? Oh yeah, Little Nas X. Yeah. So where is that little video with Fly Nubian? I don't know, man. Fly Nubian just got one chick on there that maybe sometimes be spitting some real shit, but then she just undermined herself with that stupid little defense of the guy in Florida who is representing himself as an attorney. I can't find the video. Maybe they privated it or whatever. But yeah, the little response to the tweet, right? From Boyce Watkins, aka Charles Wu's boy, to his little tweet or whatever. And you have to realize, like, the game that these people play, right? So Little Nas X is supposed to be a villain, but you know what the power of a villain is? The power of a villain is to create a hero, right? So if the Joker is most afraid and directs all of his energy toward a random person, right? Then that random person becomes the biggest potential hero, right? So if all of the games and evil things are directed to elicit a response from a specific person, then that person in opposition to that becomes a hero, even though they're not, right? We have to remember that Boyce Watkins was hawking shit to black children off the backs of his association, his business association with an Asian man who could care less about the community or the content of the items that he was hawking to our community, right? And Boyce Watkins was not just the face, but the business partner and pitchman of that bullshit, allegedly, right? So Little Nas X's little sliding down a flagpole behind doesn't save you just because he says, oh, well, of all the people, I'm afraid of Boyce Watkins. Really? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Both of y'all. Both of y'all. Both. B-O-U-F. Both of y'all can get the fuck on. It don't matter if y'all having some internal beef. The enemy of my enemy is just an enemy of my enemy. It does not mean you're a friend. The enemy of my enemy is not my friend. You're just an enemy of my enemy. Right? Somebody over here pushing a gay agenda is not better off or is not worse off or better off or whatever than somebody over here hawking stuff to basically throw a Kleenex at our cultural problems, at our problems associated with white supremacy. If anything, he helps you. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about, see, I've already talked about a large amount of this shit. I've already seen the game. So when I see Tommy Sotomayor and Kevin Samuels, I said the same thing. I said, just because Kevin Samuels, or just because Tommy Sotomayor is saying something bad about Kevin Samuels and going overboard in saying it, doesn't mean that Kevin Samuels is somehow legitimized and saved in that situation. Tommy Sotomayor is doing his job of being the extremist, right? Of taking it way too far so anybody who wants to go in that direction don't go at all, right? That's his job. That's what he's doing. He's making sure that, well, I don't want them to go out of this exit, so I'm going to go by the exit and I'm going to yell, scream, and curse and do all this other sort of silly shit, and maybe everybody will go to another exit as opposed to coming where I am. Sure, a few crazy people will follow me, but not everybody. Most people will just go the other direction. So if you had legitimate criticisms of Kevin Samuels, but then you had Tommy Sotomayor reacting to those legitimate criticism and taking them to the highest extreme, then you prevent everybody from leaving Kevin Samuels as a platform or as a person that you're looking at, because Tommy Sotomayor is doing his job. And then what did Tommy Sotomayor do for Kwame Brown right when everybody was criticizing him for having that white lady on? He all of a sudden popped up on the platform and did the exact same job. The exact same sort of little play game, little cross-promotional, WWE match, right? We don't know whether or not these people are talking in the background, just like I said about the Black Authority and Roland Martin. You don't know whether or not these people are having side conversations in the background. As a person that you're... For all you know, Roland Martin and whoever the real TBA is, they're very close friends. Right? You don't know that. They may be even investors in each other's platforms. You don't know that, right? You don't know that. You don't, especially in TBA's case, because you don't know who the fuck that person is. But even if you did know who the fuck that person is, right? What I do know about Kwame Brown and Tommy Sotomayor, which I've already covered, is that Kwame Brown looks up to Tommy Sotomayor, or at least did last year when they were on platforms together. All right, and had done so for quite some time by Kwame's own words. I don't think you're losing that by a black shock jock, which is what Tommy Sotomayor is. And mind you, going back to YouTube, Steve, I hope you're still up, buddy, because you still have Tommy Sotomayor's platform fully monetized here on YouTube. He's the guy who basically came out of his mouth and said that he's advocating for a black Holocaust. He's the one who said all you niggers, ERS, are stupid as a group. And he still has a platform. He still has a channel on this platform. But anyways, a monetized channel on this platform. But anyways, y'all keep on following for the okie doke, the bullshit, the fake enemies, the fake enemies propping up people. Who gives a flying fuck about that? So getting back to Kwame can't keep Leonard's name out of his mouth, Brown. He has to keep on calling on the Joker. He has to keep on calling on the Joker. He has to keep on saying, hey, look, he's the Joker and I'm his enemy. So that makes me Batman, right? No, that doesn't necessarily make you Batman. And Batman isn't necessarily a very good character when it comes down to his psychology if you look into it, right? But just because you keep on pointing out somebody like Leonard and his homosexual agenda pushing self, right? Just because you keep on pointing him out doesn't necessarily mean that you, Kwame Brown, let me switch imagery here for a second for the sake of the eyes of my viewer. And we'll switch back to old struggle dread here. Just because you're in opposition to Leonard doesn't mean that you're a better person, right? So regardless of the fact that in this video he actually admitted to violations of child labor law by paying, I think he said a 10-year-old and some other low ages children to clean out his rental property, as opposed to this multi-millionaire hiring a black company of actual teenagers or adults, of legal age to work. That aside, the actual thing that he was spitting and spewing in this video was that I don't help out men. I only help out women and children. Okay. All right. So, and then he tried to do it and link it back to bootstrapperism. The young man was asking him like, hey, I really would like to get, to promote my music on your platform. I'm really out here, grinding, and I really want to go ahead and do that. Could you help me out? Right. You don't know whether or not your little answer to this guy, especially the fact that you, like a bitch, talked about that one-on-one interaction with this individual on your platform. But you don't know whether or not this individual now turns into a gangbanger. You don't know whether or not in 3 months this motherfucker is going to take that stick that he said he was going to get for you and go and takes that anger that he has built up because you didn't help him out with that platform and goes to shoot somebody the fuck up. You don't know if that's going to happen. You don't know. But stepping back further, see, if you don't know the problem, you don't know the solution. This dumbass thinks that the problem to Black America is a lack of effort on Black people's parts to actually get out of poverty, right? He even cites contradictory things like the fact that, you guys are listening to evil rap music and blah, 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 blah. Yes, we can have cultural critiques of rap music and its agenda aside, but let's look at the larger pictures, which I've already discussed on other videos on this platform. When you look at who's actually behind the prison industrial complex, you actually have co-investors. You have investors who invest in that rap music and then also turn around and invest like at companies like Vanguard. They go and invest in prisons, but then they also give investments to music companies or record labels. So they actually push the bullshit music for a purpose. It's not, y'all are listening to this crap. No. It's white supremacy is creating this crap for a specific intended goal and purpose. And that intended goal and purpose is to incarcerate and enslave and make slaves of the state. These individuals, or turn these individuals into slaves of the state. That's the intent behind the music. So what he does, like all ignorant ass Black conservatives, is that they take one part of a symptom of a problem created by white supremacy. They cut it off at its kneecaps so that you don't really see the head, and then they blame the person for having a non-working foot and say, "Hey, look, well, you need to be like this white man over here who's working hard." Well, he didn't get his foot cut off. That's the reason why he's working so hard, right? He's not walking with the full weight and burden of white supremacy on him, right? And so ignorant ass, rich ass, multi-million-dollar having ass motherfuckers like Kwame Brown, see, here's the other thing. I think white supremacy has seen two sides of the coin, right? So let me check my audio, make sure Steve isn't fucking around. Hold on. Let me check my audio. Exactly. They all are working together to boost each other up and down. But basically, so what was I just saying? Let me see if I catch it before this. See, here's the other thing. I think white supremacy has seen two sides of the coin, right? So let me audio make sure. Yeah, two sides of the coin. Let me back that up. See, we can do this live now that Steve isn't fucking around with my my I can get my reminders for myself. How about that? Hold on. Let me check my audio. Make sure the supremacy on him. Right. And so cut off. That's the reason why he's working so hard. Right. He's not walking with the burden of white supremacy on him. Right. And so yeah. I think that they've seen the flip side of both coins, right? So if you have a white NBA player, NFL player, they're not burdened with the issues of white supremacy, right? They could just go out and they can take their $1 million, $3 million, and they can live life because their family members already have a certain level of middle class wealth that they don't really need any financial assistance, unlike a black athlete coming into that situation, right? And what white supremacy needs on that side of the coin is they need a large amount of people who sort of emulate that, right? Who you can't tell if they're white, black, or other, right? Who is that guy, that black anchor from NBC News, who looks like a white guy with slightly tan skin, whoever that guy is. There's an older movie where a guy is dressing up in sort of whiteface and plays a news anchor that he always reminds me of. Not Orlando Jones as the actor. I think it's a different guy who plays him, but he has dreads too. The guy from Living Single. He had a movie back in the day where he was slowly turning into a white news anchor or something like that. That guy, whoever that guy is from NBC News, he always reminds me of him. But it's like white supremacy needs those examples too, right? The well-spoken Candace Owens type, the well-spoken immigrant professional, the well-spoken black person to be exceptions to the rule. But I think with Kwame, they're experiencing or experimenting with having the sort of down-home speaking individual, right? And see whether or not that individual can lead black people astray. Right? Because all they need, think about white supremacy, right? If I'm a white supremacist and I'm thinking about how do I get these niggers off of doing something that's going to fuck up white supremacy? Oh, let me look at my watch. Oh, shit. It's 35 to 40 years since the last time they were doing something. Oh, it looks like this time we got a good 50 years out of them since the 60s. It looks like whatever we did during the 80s and 90s so far as the crack epidemic and mass incarceration extended our timeline a little. But look, there we go again. It's about 40 to 50 years on the clock. Looks like these niggers are riled up again. Okay, well, all we got to do is distract them with controlled opposition, and then in this case, in this media age, we don't have to actually have them have any real grassroots support. All we have to do is give them social media validation and signal boost their message that way, right? And then in some cases, we'll play the boogeyman to drive people over to their platform. But even if it doesn't really matter if they're not saying anything detrimental to white supremacy, we'll play the boogeyman, but we'll boost them over there too, right? We'll signal boost them over there too. So all they got to do is just distract people for 15 to 20 years. Let's distract these niggas for 15 to 20 years. By the time that 15 to 20 years don't rolled around, they would have popped out a new generation of lazy motherfuckers that we can indoctrinate. We now know what the new culture was about to say. Oh, they were about to say we need reparations. So we'll make sure that we have social programming ready in the next 3 to 4 years. But let's push out these people who are not going to say a goddamn thing that's going to promote reparations. They're going to promote everything but reparations and low-key denigrate reparations by doing so, and then we get to distract these niggas for the next 40 to 50 years. So let's pump out people like Kwame Brown. Let's pump out people like Tariq Nasheed. Let's pump out people like the Black Authority. Let's pump out people like Professor Black Truth. Let's pump out all these little dumbass motherfuckers who are going to say every fucking thing else other than we need reparations tomorrow. We need reparations tomorrow. We know that it's going to have an inflationary effect on the economy, but we don't give a fuck. We want reparations tomorrow. If you have to create a whole separate non-debt-based currency in order to give us that money, then that's what you need to do. We need reparations tomorrow, right? Instead of you saying that, right, you have people like Kwame. You distribute Judge Joe Brown and his crazy. I saw something. You know what? Let me see if I can pull this up. You know what? Because it's so funny how all that shit happened with the Black Authority, with me asking that simple ass question of whether or not Judge Joe Brown supports reparations or not. But then there was some crazy shit I saw. Let me see. There was some real crazy shit I saw on Twitter about this motherfucker Judge Joe Brown and reparations. And it's just so funny because I thought that the Black Authority was like, oh, before he committed several felonies, I thought he was like, hey, you know, Judge Joe Brown supports reparations. He supports reparations. Yeah. So he was saying something to the effect of, we can't even get a chicken sandwich right, or some stupidness. What was something about chicken sandwich? We're gonna pull it up real time. I wonder if that person is responding directly. But so Judge Joe Brown thinks black people don't deserve reparations because of a chicken sandwich. Oh, and this chicken thing is due to a lack of masculinity in the household. I wonder if she was responding. Oh, they must have wiped it. I know I can see it on my other. These are the top. What about the latest? I thought I remember seeing something where it was like a always search with DuckDuckGo. Anyways. No. I'll search my other, what you call it, and I'll read it off there, because I know that I've seen the what you call it on Twitter, but I guess on general search you can't find it. That's how they protect one another. I'm telling you, that's how they do it. On general search, I can't find it. Ignorant ass, rich ass. Look at this. So many little problems going on over here. Steve trying to get me. I see you, Steve. The YouTube employee that I've aptly named. I see you playing games, sir. Trying to slowly mute my mic so you can slowly mute my mic. I got you, bro. I got you. Let me search over here on my actual Judge Joe Brown. chicken. We'll leave it at that. Reparations as well. Because I remember seeing the actual tweet. Yeah, that was the implication. He was saying Judge Joe Brown thinks we shouldn't get reparations because we would blow the money on fried chicken, and that's because of women. There was some little statement. I remember seeing the screenshots, but I don't see them now on Twitter. Which is weird. Maybe I should take the judge out. Maybe I should just look for for Joe Brown. Nope. I'm even getting lesser. Somehow when I'm getting less tweets now that I don't have judge in the title. Somebody's doing some sweeps, boy. Somebody's doing some sweeps through YouTube. Through Twitter as well. Trying to scrub. Good job, y'all. Y'all keep on doing y'all good work. We need a clean environment, Do your job. That's fine. But we see y'all, though. We see y'all. We see what y'all doing. Anyways. But they're all together. So Judge Joe Brown, Kwame Brown, the Black Authority, Professor Black Truth, even Boyce Watkins, Charles Wu, Tariq Nasheed, they're all linked together. They're all linked up. They're all clicked up, right? So the reason why when you expose these people on something so basic as whether or not they support reparations, they fall too, right? They were bragging about bringing up reparations on the national debate stage, but honestly, that could be brought up here and now. Why don't you have the Black Authority and Professor Black Truth saying, "Hey, Tariq, you kind of wait, come here. Let me smell you real good. Tariq, Tariq, you kind of smell like a grifter here, buddy. You kind of got some grifter barbecue sauce on you a little bit, man. What? You want to build a museum in Compton, in currently being gentrified Compton, to do what, sir? You need $7 million. You're only asking for $1 million right now. Come here. Yeah, you kind of smell like you need to go take a wash. Take a bath. I think you've been trying to rinse off with some rags and some water. I think you need to I think you need to touch water. I think you need to touch water, Tariq, because you kind of smelling kind of funky. You kind of smelling like you're a grifter. You're kind of smelling kind of griftery, kind of Creflo Dollary, right? Because you're sitting up here talking about a museum when what the black what descendants of American slaves actually need is reparations. And with reparations, they could easily donate. They could I don't know. They could probably create their own museum. They could probably get together a whole bunch of black PhDs in history with a concentration in African American studies. Get those people together and have museums, right? Instead of your unqualified ass, they could actually have somebody who's actually qualified in the field. And yes, even from their PhDs being sourced from an HBCU, they can find those individuals to actually run a museum, right? And curate a museum, not have a building up with a whole bunch of LCD screens that are just going to be showing pictures on the wall or something like that, right? They could have something more, right? But before you worry about a museum that you're going to have to ask apparently 6 more times because, you're only getting $1 million. You said you need 7, so you're gonna ask 6 more times for this same shit, right? Instead of you doing that, why don't you, I don't know, instead of doing a 501c3, do a 501c4? And yes, unfortunately, I have to somewhat reference Chopper Suit. I'm sorry, it's a good joke. In this, and the fact that they went through the 501c4 route to it. However, it's still a little cultish over there at ADOS AF. It's sort of a little bit cultish over there. I'm gonna have to stay away from that that Kool-Aid that they over there selling, especially when they try to, speaking of history, try to rewrite their own history, so far as their origins over there at ADOSAF. But I'm sure some drama and another chair throwing incident is going to happen soon, so I'll be ready with my popcorn there as well. But at the end of the day, you still have to give them props because they did create a correctly organized political action vehicle. By doing 501c4 as opposed to 501c3, they can raise money, not in a tax beneficial way to those who donate, but they can raise money in a way that they could still take political action. They could still have views politically, right? I have to give props where props are due, right? I have to give props where props are due. So at the end of the day, they can still advocate for reparations. Now, their organization is janky as shit, and they definitely are two narcissists, and they definitely need to plant more grass if they want to say that they're part of grassroots anything, especially with their iron fist that they want to run with their chapters, and the fact that Yvette Carnell wants to stay her ass in Atlanta, even though she should have been there. And we can go down. Listen, we can go down that road. We can go down that road, but they are sitting over there. Her and Tone are sitting over there, irrelevant as fuck. So I don't know. She needs to go back to Breaking Brown, because she's trying to turn this new little channel into Breaking Brown 2.0, and that shit ain't working. Because at the end of the day, my mind at the very least is looking at that channel and being like, shouldn't you actually be updating us? But anyways, I've already called them out as to what I think that they're ended up going to be. They're going to be a LaRouche Pack 2.0. That's what they're going to do. They're trying to sequester reparations into an unachievable goal, as opposed to them putting it into actual action. So they're following Lyndon LaRouche's pigeonhole strategy with NWAPA. They're going to do the exact same thing with reparations. They're going to turn it even conceptually into something that's so undoable and so unworkable that it becomes politically a political albatross because of the amount of things that they're going to start asking for, right? At the end of the day, it's very simple. It's very stupidly simple that we need reparations, and they should be pushing for it in any way, shape, fashion, or form, but they're jockeying for position and alienating relationships, right? So I gotta pause. I'm sorry, but we gotta pause and talk about ADOS and just pause. Just fucking pause, because Sandy Darity has been doing but of course they should have let us know that Sandy Darity was doing some sort of stupid shit. But Sandy Darity was doing some sort of stupid shit, right? But at the end of the day, they were trying to keep the shit under wraps because they had a good relationship with him. But that sounds a little bit like the fact that they had like back in the day when they had a relationship with, I don't know, who's that guy? Yeah, Tariq Nasheed. And everybody, including the caller that I highlighted, because I was on that fucking live stream. I was there typing away. And saying at the time, contemporaneously, that yeah, she was right. You know, that sounds fishy as fuck that y'all are associated with him, and then they basically defended him at the time openly and just talked shit about people who were saying to stop talking to him. I guess we were so wrong. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Tone. I almost called you the Tariq there for a second. But anyways, they cannot maintain good relationships with people. Your ADOS is supposed to be able to get their asses in the goddamn room and push for a very simple, singular issue. But they are unable to actually do coalitions. That's number one. Number two, any sort of media that somebody's told them, any media is good media, even though they have the article there ripping you to shreds and talking about everybody, including your goddamn grandmama. You sit up and, well, we up in this newspaper. Yeah, and the article that you're referencing is talking about y'all like crazy. And the fact that you have the organization, or at least back in the day, you had the organization named the same name as the lineage. You had people in the situation having to defend the lineage, even though the person may be making valid critiques of the organization. But since you confused the two, it was hard for people to not defend you early on because you confused the goddamn two. But you're sitting up here like, oh, well, look at this guy in this blue shirt and he's representing ADOS. Yeah, and in the article, they're making you seem like stupid fucks, and it's politically fucking us up. Oh, and not to mention the chair throwing incident that you had with Tariq Nasheed blew out any of your political capital with being associated directly with any sort of political campaign at the time. Anyways, that's ADOS for your stinking ass. Fuck all of them. But anyways, I have to give them credit for the one specific part is the fact that they have a 501c4. Well, Tariq has a 501c3. He went the full I want to offer a tax credit route with his organization. Well, what that means is he cannot, which I don't know the commingling situation that's been going on, but he cannot advocate for reparations. He can't advocate for a candidate. He can't advocate for a political position. He cannot. If he does, then guess what he does? Guess what that means? He risks losing his designation as a 501c3 for his nonprofit. He risks losing that if he decides to have political speech. Right? And the fact that I don't know the legalities of it, but he's basically fundraising on his Tariq radio platform. I don't know how that's happening if he's not directly stating, maybe he is, I don't know. But if he's not directly stating that, hey, this part of the video, I'm speaking as the head of whatever melanated people, whatever the LLC or whatever the nonprofit organization is, I'm speaking right now, only right now, as a part of this organization. And everything else after this is not I don't know how you designate that. But since he's commingled those two things together, how is he even having political speech? Hold on, let me make sure Steve isn't fucking me up. Hold on. I don't know the legal. Yeah. Look, it looks like Steve is asleep. It looks like Steve from YouTube, my handler personally in charge of my censorship. Looks like he's asleep. All right, so we good. But I don't know how the hell he's going to do that. I don't know how, me personally, maybe I'm paranoid. Maybe it's because I don't have as many lawyers as that multimillionaire to think about these sorts of things. But the first thing I would be thinking about is, damn, can I speak about political things, or can I just make these comedic social observations that lend themselves to maybe a political position without me expressly stating a political position like, hey, we need reparations for slavery. But I wonder whether or not he's gonna run himself into problematic territory. Yeah, they be doing a whole bunch of janky shit, right? They be stealing a whole bunch of janky shit. I think they've been doing some background checks on me so far as applications are concerned, because I actually am the owner of copbook.com. So yeah, they've been doing a whole bunch of little janky shit. You know, he's already admitted to being this nigga Tariq talking about something. Well, I have dossiers on people. I think he was talking about some. I have dossiers. I be getting information on. Oh, okay, all right. That's how y'all do it. I don't know how blue checks be doing. Y'all be getting information on people and shit. Okay, allegedly. Okay, all right. Well, cool. But they be. Here's the deal. He gets all of everybody else's money, and that's all he's ever gonna get. He's on pimp time, or at least that's what I could see. He's on pimp time. It's like the money comes in, bitch. The money ain't going out. It ain't going out. What the fuck? You want the money back? You want the money back? Oh no, you don't get the money back. The money is mine. And it's so funny, that video I have up, right? That video, man, you could see the YouTube games, the games that they play with the likes. You can see I could see it real time. The games with the likes. Likes went up. Was up to like 17 likes at one point. 17 likes and 4 dislikes. Went down to like all of that's in the comment section. Because I for that one I was like, let me just put it in the comment section. Every single time I see this stupid shit that Steve is doing from YouTube, I was gonna put it in the comment section, and I could see like the horizontal asymptotes that they have for the view count. I could see all of that. I could see it with my own eyes, right? That, oh, okay, well, we're not gonna allow this video to go up beyond this, right? That video has Tariq Nasheed and Hidden History Museum in the title. Every single time he gets on there and opens up his mouth and says, Tariq, you need to donate to the Hidden History Museum. That video was created around about the same time that he came out with that. So every single time he opens his mouth, that video should have view spikes, right? It should have view, but you can see the games that YouTube plays. Like, you can see the games, and even though the video doesn't say anything specifically, well, except for the last line, which no one can actually say anything about. It doesn't say anything specifically damaging other than, hey, instead of you getting money, now in the comment section I'm going in on his ass, but in the video, it doesn't say anything other than you should be fighting for these people's reparations. You shouldn't be worrying about these getting a useless museum. You should be fighting for reparations, right? Which nobody can argue for. But if you link it back to the fact that he has a 501c3, the question I have is, can he even advocate for reparations? Can he even open up his mouth and fix his mouth to say that on his platform? Can he even do that, right? Sure, I'm sure there's an attorney somewhere who's going to tell him how he can do that. I'm fairly confident, as I believe he is a tool of white supremacy, and a possible tool of grift. I don't believe that they would actually even pursue him, even if he was making violations that would put his 501c3 in jeopardy. Me personally, I don't believe that they would actually pursue any sort of legal strategies against him, right? They would probably let him speak because they know privately that he's disingenuous about reparations, clearly. But the whole purpose of Tariq Nasheed is to take what would be the radical element of any sort of movement and to box them off over to the side. Give them something, give them a toy to play with, is what Tariq Nasheed is supposed to do, right? A white guy basically came up and was like, hey, Tariq, go get these niggas over here. You get the radical niggas. Get the niggas who believe that you niggas was here before even the Native Americans. Get them niggas together. Get them crazy ass sovereign citizen ass niggas. Get them together. Get them together somehow, some way. Put out whatever content you're gonna put out. Don't worry, we're gonna keep you a blue check, even though you're saying some crazy shit. We're gonna keep you a monetized channel on YouTube. Don't worry about that. Your money's gonna keep on coming in. We'll give you some TV spots and some interviews in the background. But you go get all them niggas that would probably be a problem if we talking about reparations on the national scale. Get a large amount of them niggas and sequester those niggas off to the side somewhere, please. Just get them. And if you can't sequester them off, throw a whole bunch of shit out there as much as possible. Right, throw a whole bunch of shit out there as much as possible to keep them radicalized to a certain degree. Like, say stupid shit like white supremacy isn't a matter of law, and law doesn't apply to them. So don't worry about law when you're dealing with these white people. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with cops and shit like that. Try to throw out there that law isn't important. So hopefully we'll have them turn violent as a response, or they won't follow up with internal affairs or do anything that's going to jeopardize anything legally. Just throw out the Moor shit. Throw out the fact that the Moors did every goddamn thing in the United States, and keep on throwing that narrative out, because that's going to be useful for us in the future, because we'll be able to get them niggas when they try to talk about some reparations, because we'll be able to say, hey, well, what you talking about? We don't know whether or not you were a slave or whether or not you were already here, because remember, you believe in this FBA bullshit, right? Just throw out a whole bunch of shit, and we'll allow you to do some fundraisers, and we'll kick you a few. We'll kick you, we'll make sure you hit your goals. We'll make sure you hit your goals regardless. You know what I'm saying? Just do that for us, please. Right? Put a name associated with it, like FBA. Put a name associated with it. That way, everybody who's throwing up an FBA tag will know what ideology they're following. Right? We'll know what ideology that they're following. We'll know that that's you. So we'll be able to do some statistics on how much you're growing based off of the hashtags that people use. Just go on out there and do that. Go on, Tariq. Go. That's basically what they've already done with Tariq Nasheed, in my opinion. I'm sleepy. Don't take any of these words as facts. These are just all my opinion. All of them. Even the stuff I pulled up on Twitter directly, that's just all my opinion. But when you're talking about Kwame Brown, when you talk about Tariq Nasheed, when you talk about all these people, you have to realize that what you think are enemies, right? They're not fucking enemies, right? You have to ask yourself basic questions. Why are they still there? Why are they on a monetized channel? Why are they still having blue checks next to their names? Why do they not have any real community guideline strikes, right? I don't give a damn about a stream ending. I can create that happening right now. I can make that seem like my stream is ending right now if I wanted to. That's not real, all right? Real enemies of YouTube would not have your content talking about black liberation and empowerment be monetized. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that hurts you, but YouTube is not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're just not going to do that. And you have to ask yourself, what part of my message is compatible with YouTube? What part of my message is compatible with them paying me, right? And that has to be an honest, hard look. And it's hard. It's hard, but it is a hard look that needs to happen. That needs to happen because because Tariq Nasheed, in my opinion, the fact that he's a monetized channel invalidates every goddamn thing he says on his fucking platform. Because YouTube pays him to say that shit. If you look at it a different way, YouTube is. I don't know what's going on with TBA and Professor Black Truth. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. You know why? Because they're anonymous motherfuckers. I don't know who the fuck they are. I'm going to. I'm going to know exactly who the fuck at least the Black Authority is. But I don't know currently who the fuck they are. Right? I don't know who the fuck they are. Blog Talk Radio knows who the fuck they are, though. I can say that, though. Blog Talk Radio knows who the fuck the Black Authority is. All of his business associates that he signed a contract with through his company probably knows who the fuck he is. And I have to go back to the fact that what Mrs. Well, not Mrs., but I don't want to give her too much respect. But we have to go back to Yvette Carnell and her major critique. Sometimes when people are slinging chairs, some truth gets slung out too. That nigga ain't hiding from white people. From the white people he talks so much shit about. He hiding from us. He hiding from us. He doesn't want us to know who the fuck he is for whatever reason. Blog Talk Radio knows who the fuck he is. I can tell you that much. They know who the fuck he is. That billboard company that whoever paid or helped him pay for those billboards, right? That billboard company that he was saying that he put up all of them goddamn billboards. They know who the fuck he is. They know. His local tax collector office probably knows who the fuck he is. His attorney, who has associations, knows who the fuck he is, especially if his attorney is not white. Or, excuse me, is not black. If his attorney is white, they know who the fuck. He's not hiding from white people. He's hiding from black people. The audience who he claims to be advocating for, while he also half-asses his support for reparations and tries to tries to throw in do for selferism shit at the same time. Like his buddy, Judge Joe Brown. Like his buddy, you can't give these niggas reparations because they gonna blow it on fucking Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Who also happens to be friends with Kwame Brown. Especially. So at the end of the day, all these people, all these manic, all these weird, all these off-topic people are all just flooded into this space. They're all flooded into this goddamn space, right? So I want to say again, I'm refocusing my efforts when it comes down to YouTube. I've taken off all of my creative content. All of my creative content is no longer on this platform because I know what this platform is. It is a janky co-publishing platform. So I'm only going to give them material that's in my benefit. So that way, if the material is still up on the platform every single day, it's a nice little bitty protest for me. Every single day, even a megabyte of "we need reparations" as descendants of American slaves, that soundbite, even if it's just a goddamn megabyte, is being stored by a multinational monopolistic company that also promotes these other controlled opposition people. So long as that 1 megabyte file is being hosted here, I'm good. All right. They decide to cancel this fucking program and cancel out all my political speech. Who cares? It's my political speech. All that is flowing from me, inside of me, and being spoken. I don't need that video over again. It's just, if anything, you've canceled out. If you decide to cancel my channel, if anything, you cancel out all of that stuff, and now I have to do it all over again with that as a part of my perspective. So who cares? Nobody cares. I don't care, right? All I care about is putting out the message that descendants of American slaves need reparations. So going back to this Kwame Brown video that I'm highlighting here. Yeah, I got time today. I know it's nighttime and all sorts of shit, but I got fucking time today. I got time today, right? So going back to this video from Kwame Brown. Kwame, if you're listening, I don't know if you are, boy. I don't know. You did that weird left hand going to Hassan Campbell, right, and going to these straw men after the white girl was on your platform. She hasn't been on your platform in a while, man. I wonder if you still have that relationship, that business relationship with that woman, who she says that she's planning on doing something on your land. I would love, me personally, Kwame, I would love to have her back on your program for her to further explain how she and her previous criminal background is going to help black people. Because she never said black people. She said women, but she didn't say anything about black women. And I'm thinking that she got it from you with that ignorant ass comment you had with that young man who was actually turning to you to do something possibly positive. All you had to do with that individual is be like, hey, you know, if you're going to promote rap music on my platform, I don't accept certain content, right? I don't want to hear about violence. I don't want to hear about misogyny. I don't want to hear about, you know, disrespecting women. If you have something that's positive, that's fun, something that I can, you know, show to my kids or have around my kids, then yeah, you can use my platform for that. But if you're going to be talking about all this and all this and all that and all the third, then I'm not going to have you on my platform. That would have been a better conversation to have with that young man, right? That would have said, hey, damn, well, I have an opportunity to use somebody who is popping, use their platform. All I got to do is change my messaging. You know what he would have done? He would have taken his ass to his producers, he would have went to his producer right then and there, and they would have probably cut another song, and it would probably cut 2 or 3 to see whether or not they could figure out one that would work, right? That he would have worked with you back and forth, and you could have been the change you wanted to be. But you revealed who you really are, which is very odd considering your own personal background. But you're like, well, I'm only for these kids and I'm for these women. I ain't for these men. These men need to get out and work and do this and that. You mean the black men who are targeted by hip hop in order to be converted into slaves of the state? The same black men who we're out here protesting the fact that they're being killed in the streets like dogs. You mean those black men? You mean the black men that is the primary target of white supremacy? You know, I know you don't understand the targeting of black men so far as financial poverty, considering that you were able to convert your height into a multi-million-dollar career, even though most analysts feel as though your performance was subpar. Right, I understand that you were able to take a subpar NBA career and convert it into multiple millions of dollars, and it's difficult there for you to understand the struggles of an everyday person who has to work off of their own talent in order to succeed, especially when the public educational system controlled by white supremacists fail young men like the one that you were talking to, right? I understand that you don't understand none of that. But getting back to my point of the flip side of the coin, white supremacy is realize that they can use niggas like you too. Because of your accent alone, you make it seem like you a down home Georgia boy. That you a Geechee motherfucker. That you just out here working on tractors and shit. And you just, you know what I'm saying? You about to have a crab boil. You know what I'm saying? You about to go out fishing, shoot a gun, go hunting, do all that sort. Nigga, shut the fuck up with that stupid shit. Kwame Brown, stop acting like you don't have a white voice that you speak to your agents and attorneys with. Right? Stop all that stupid shit. You're a multimillionaire 1%er. Right? Just because you have Hassan Campbell on to parrot that shit in order for him to be the straw man that you could burn down with the arguments that go along with it, you would never have a nigga like me on your fucking platform. You would never debate me. I thought about hitting that StreamYard thing I was there, boy. When you put that shit out there, I was right there. I was like, but I ain't had time. I ain't have time. I was at work. I was at my 9 to 5, my dude. I ain't have time. I ain't have time to get at you. But you would never have a person like me who would actually pick you the fuck apart. You would never. I had TBA running and doing illegal bitch-like shit off of 2 questions. I know I could easily have you hanging up the phone, making all sorts of threats in easily under 10 minutes. Easily under 10 minutes. You would never survive me. And that is a very good question of whether or not you are a part of the Prince Hall Masons. That is a very good question that Hassan, threw in his Ephigean horse to be burned sacrificially, right? But that is a very good question of whether or not you're a Prince Hall Mason. Because here's the deal. You ain't going to denounce some shit like that if you are. You're never going to come out your mouth and say a goddamn thing about Masonry, because if you do, you know damn well that you'll get kicked out of that organization. So if you ask a person who, if they're a Prince Hall Mason, or if they're, which you have to be a Prince Hall Mason because, the regular Masons are racist and they don't allow black people in their, Irish or Scottish Rite Masonry organization. So black people have to be sequestered over to Prince Hall Masons. So you would never actually deny that you're a Prince Hall Mason if somebody asks you directly. You just do the stupid shit you did, which is, keep your mouth shut. Or ask rhetorical questions. So if I am, then who are my managers? You have to do all sorts of stupid shit instead of saying no, hell no, fuck no. This is why no. Like you won't ever say no shit like that because, well, if you are one, you would never say no shit like that. I'll just put it that way. You would never say no. You would never try to lie about that, right? But that is a very good question. Right? Because that would link you to the same boule people that you want to try to criticize. That would possibly make you a Prince Hall Mason brother with your boy Leonard over there. Right? You don't know whether or not he's a part of, whether or not he's already sworn in member of that organization. You don't know. I don't know. He could be. And if you are, then, and he is as well, then we have to ask about whether or not you have a shared agenda. Right? Whether or not y'all are propping each other up. Right? That was a valid question back in the day when we saw that George W. Bush and what's his name, John Kerry, were both a part of the Skull and Bones Society. Right? That was a very valid question about that association of those individuals in that secret society and whether or not that truly meant that they truly were oppositional or not. Right? Yeah, you're not speaking to a dumbass motherfucker. All right? So if you are a part of a secret society that also your enemy or op or controlled or pre-planned enemy is a part of as well, that is a question that should be asked and answered there, Kwame. But you would never do that. You would never actually debate or actually have a conversation with a person like me because my agenda is very clear. My agenda is we need reparations. Descendants of American slaves need reparations. Every single malady within our society culturally is linked back to a deprivation of wealth. Black people are not stupid. We are just institutionally impoverished. And when you have people who are institutionally impoverished and have issues with generalized anxiety disorder, they try to soothe and cure and self-medicate that multi-generational impoverishment with various things, with drugs, with cultural issues so far as violence, right? All of those are compensations for that. But here, one thing I can guarantee damn well to you, if you offered every single black inmate in jail and said, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I know you in here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you $300,000 in order for you to get out right now. But here's what I'm going to do. If you come back to jail, you stay in here for the rest of your natural life. If you come back to jail for any reason, you stay in here for the rest of your natural life. But I'm going to give you $300,000 and you can get out right now. Ain't nobody but somebody who really, really wants to go to jail. Ain't nobody going back to jail in that situation. That motherfucker is going to take that $300,000. He's going to get himself in rehab for the most part. You're going to have some stupid exceptions to that rule. But for the most part, that motherfucker is going to take that goddamn money. If he has a drug addiction, he's going to get that worked out. If he has any sort of issues, he's going to get that worked out. He's going to try to buy himself some stable housing situation. With a part of that money, he's going to try to buy himself some adequate transportation, and he's going to try to use the rest of the money to try to get himself a business, some sort of training for a job, for a decent job. He's going to use that money. He's probably, for the recidivism rate on that sort of scheme is going to be next to fucking zero. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you that the problems, the maladies that conservatives want to point out as maladies of the black society that bootstrap anti-gravity levitation should solve? Or does that tell you that those maladies are endemic to those people? Or does that tell you that those maladies can easily be solved by the motivation associated with seeing a viable future ahead of you by having tangible assets in the form of a large sum of money present and available to you right then and there? I think the latter is the case. I think that if you truly put in front of black impoverished people opportunity, they will take it. But if you try to put in front of them work and the hope of payment and reward at the end of that work, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for niggas like me. I don't have any sort of history. I don't have any sort of criminal record. And I still have to deal with fuck shit every day. I had to deal with fuck shit today on my job. Fuck shit that's associated directly to me as a black man. You have to deal with fuck shit. I get paid well over $100,000 a year. I still have to deal with fuck shit. Do you not think that people within my family who may not necessarily be on the same grind as me don't see my struggle, being the fact that my nose is clean and I'm still having to deal with shit? They see that shit. And they think to themselves, well, okay, well, if he has to deal with that, and he's keeping his nose clean, then fuck that. Maybe I should keep my nose a little bit dirty, because if I'm going to keep my nose clean and I'm still going to have to deal with fuck shit, then, maybe I should keep on doing. That's the example, unfortunately. That's the example, and that's the intended example of white supremacy. That's the reason why people like me go through the fuck shit. It's not really necessarily for me also. It's to discourage anybody else who wants to follow behind me. Right? But is Kwame Brown talking about that while he's talking about white devils? He's also, and I can handle this very quickly, because I told you, I got motherfucking time today. None of my creative works are on YouTube. So if they cancel this shit tomorrow, I'll open up another motherfucking page and start posting my political views again. None of my creative shit is being held hostage on this motherfucking platform at all. But what he also said was that he was going to be on that panel with Boyce Watkins and all these other people. But one of the other people he said was Mr. Rizza Islam. Mr. Rizza Islam. See, and this has been a dude that has had his penis, metaphorically speaking, in other people's mouths, or they have had his penis in their mouths, trying to big him up because they're associated with him. So let's just jump to this crazy sort of shit with this person, Rizza Islam. Oh yeah, we're going there. Or is it Scientology? I'm sorry. You'll see what I'm talking about. Scientology. Might be Scientology. I'm not sure. I could use that video I just saw, but there's one I already saw. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Let's listen to what Rizza Islam truly believes and how that links back to Kwame Brown.
The science of everything. Number one, only a slave master will tell you to read one book. Let me say that again. Only a slave master or someone with a slave master mentality, knowingly or unknowingly, will tell you to study and research from just one book. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad were given one.
I tried. You know, I did. I gave you a very good effort to try not to hit pause on this. But see, so what he's talking about is the Nietzschean concept of a slave mentality and a master mentality, or a slave morality and a master morality. What he's not telling you, he's invoking those terms, right? But those terms in that context don't imply good or bad. They just imply master and slave. So what he's saying may be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not applying it himself, because he could be applying it himself, that slave or a slave master strategy on a particular slave, because it could be something that he, as a person who is a practitioner of a master morality, may be promoting for himself. So just keep that in mind. You see, these little smart niggas who trying to throw these little references out, and they don't try to explain them. They just try to throw it out because they know they're talking to people who are walled off from that type of knowledge. But this is Nietzschean shit. Anyway.
103 books by Master Farad Muhammad. There are over 59,999 books of higher mathematics. This world of the white man was built on one. Using one book, he built this world for himself. You think that all the answers are in one book? No. Most of them are in the Holy Quran, if you understand. Yes. However, you have to read multiple books in order to get answers to so many things you must read. So I had to say that first because I want you to understand the Nation of Islam. We are taught to study and learn the science of everything, right? Number one. Church of Scientology. Let me clear the word Scientology. Scientology does not mean the study of science. Listen carefully. Scientology does not mean the study of science. That would be science-ology. Ology is Greek, meaning the study of. Science-ology, meaning the study of science. Scientology is not the study of science. Scientology comes from skio, meaning knowing in the fullest sense of the word, or knowledge itself. Scientology, ology meaning the study of. Scientology literally means
the gaslighting of the quasi-intelligent. Then that would be scientology, dummy. That would be scientology directly. It wouldn't be Scientology. It would just simply be scientology.
means the study of knowledge. Facts. I have been studying the technology of Scientology since I was 9 years old. Facts. I've been studying the technology of Scientology over 14 years of my life. And it has only made me a better black man. It has only made me a better Muslim. It has only helped me to understand, oh, wait a minute, that's our technology. L. Ron Hubbard himself, the founder of the Church of Scientology in 1955, and he founded Dianetics in 1950, stated himself that this is, meaning the work that...
Just so you know, you already know who I'm going to use to counter this Nation of Islam representative. And you already know where he's about to go, because he's licking shoelaces. He ain't licking boots. This motherfucker is spoon licking, like, like he's trying to lick all the spaghetti sauce off of a fucking spaghetti noodle. He is licking shoelaces. So you already know he's about to lick the boot and the bottom of the boot at some point in this statement, right? His prep work is so off code, even as a Nation of Islam representative, it's not even funny. But you already know who I'm gonna queue up right after him. Right after him, when he gets finished with this boot licking. You already know. You already know. You already know.
He has been
Oh,
doing.
I can't have him that big. No.
He said, and I want to make sure I get it
Pause
right.
on that.
He said to the work of over 50,000 years of thinking men, of whose work Dianetics and Scientology would not be possible. The credit is theirs, not mine. The Caucasian didn't exist over 7,000 years ago. He studied among Buddhist monks. He studied among African tribes. He studied among Native American tribes. He studied among different tribes all across the planet. And he gathered all of our original sciences, and he found a way to put them together in a way that we could digest, understand them, and agree to them without being divided and fighting among one another. That's what that white man did. That's all he did. The basis of Scientology is survival. Who doesn't want to survive? That's the basic agreement, which is survive. We all want to survive,
I'm going to let him
right?
finish, but I'm going to search for something
Simple.
else. Hold on one second.
So anybody has an issue with Scientology, it's only because you don't understand the basics of Scientology. You don't know what it is. It means a study of knowledge. It's simple. They got a whole bunch of courses on pretty much anything you could think about in life, from finances to child problems to marriages, all that stuff. They got a whole bunch of great stuff. Stop being afraid and just go learn. You go and learn from all these white teachers in your schools. You go and learn from all these white teachers over in your universities, in your colleges, and all these places. You have white teachers. But you don't say anything about that. You literally don't say anything about your white teachers in universities. You don't say anything about your white teachers at all these schools. Theirs, not mine. The Caucasian
Damn, I
didn't
was talking
exist
on mute
over
that whole
7,000
entire
years
time.
ago. He studied among Buddhist monks. He studied among African tribes. He studied among Native American tribes. He studied among different tribes all across the planet. And he gathered all of our original sciences, and he found a way to put them together in a way that we could digest, understand them, and agree to them without being divided and fighting among one another. That's what that white man did. That's all he did. The basis of Scientology is survival. Who doesn't want to survive? That's the basic agreement, which is survive. We all want to survive, right? Simple. So anybody has an issue with Scientology, it's only because you don't understand the basics of Scientology. You don't know what it is. It means a study of knowledge. It's simple. They got a whole bunch of courses on pretty much anything you could think about in life, from finances to child problems to marriages, all that stuff. They got a whole bunch of great stuff. Stop being afraid and just go learn. You go and learn from all these white teachers in your schools. You go and learn from all these white teachers over in your
Hold on,
university.
what'd she say?
You go and learn.
What'd she say?
You go and learn from all these white teachers in your schools. You go and learn from all these white teachers over in your in universities, in your colleges.
This dude is in the parking lot of his hotel. I mean, of his apartment, talking shit.
You don't say anything about that. You literally don't say anything about your white teachers in universities. You don't say anything about your white teachers at all these schools. But you have a problem when a white man gathers your information and your knowledge and brings it together in a way that you can accept it. It's very simple. It's very, very, very simple. So definitely, that's exactly why. That's exactly why I'm like, you know what, y'all gotta
synchronicities.
Just raise
I don't
above
know who the hell that lady
rise above
is.
emotion to the thinking of God, okay?
But she's speaking
That's
the
what we
truth
have to
right now. Shut the fuck up.
No viable connection. Oh, what you're asking is, do we get paid? Is what you're asking. I laugh at the ignorance that people have, man. It's like, it's so funny. You don't have a damn land of your own, but yet you try to find something wrong with the Nation of Islam and Scientology. You just want to jump on everything that has to, anything that can bring you away from taking responsibility for your own life, your own child, your own family, your own anything, you can jump on it.
See? You see how these do-for-selferism people hang together? It's almost like I can tell a person's ideology by who they associate themselves with, right? And so therefore, when Kwame Brown sits up here and says that he's enthusiastically ready to be in a panel with Rizza Islam, I can almost just easily stumble on a do-for-selferism fucking quote popping out of his goddamn mouth. It's almost like me having that suspicion of Judge Joe Brown or the Black Authority or Professor Black Truth or Tariq Nasheed. It's almost like I can predict these things based off of basic principles. One, whether or not you're a Christian. Two, whether or not you talk about descendants of American slaves and not just simply black people. No. Descendants of American slaves. Can you say it? Right? And then three, whether or not you support reparations. And whether or not you use reparations as the primary jumping off point for anything else you say, the primary analysis for anything you say, the primary jumping off point. If you don't use reparations, you're full of shit. It's almost like I have a nice little 3-point detector for these fuckers. But let's let Rizza Islam finish, because he's about to fully put the foot so far in his mouth that he's going to be practicing a deep throat with it. His ankle is going to be scratching the inside of his the inside of his esophagus at some point. So let me let him finish that, and then we can go on to the counter to the bullshit he's saying.
It's just so amazing. Let me jump into something. Here's something I want to tell you. Number one, no. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did not sell out to a white man. I will debate anyone on Scientology. Anyone, and mind you, I'm being very specific. I know how powerful that is. I will debate anyone. Any scholar. I'm not the scholarly scholar brother, but when it comes to the connection of the Nation of Islam and Scientology, or the Church of Scientology, you cannot defeat anything that I will say. Because I've been studying it for nearly 20 years of my life. Try me. The Nation of Islam is sacred. It is ran by Allah, God, under the authority of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader, and his representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Period. No one sold out to a white man.
Wait, let's pause. Let's pause for a second. It looks like
because you went to USC.
It looks like YouTube.
You donated money to UCLA.
Man,
knowing that they give you lives, can jump on it. It's just so amazing. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Look at how they work in this. Look at how they work in this. So in my OBS software, I could see the video, right? But when I'm going to YouTube, for some reason, YouTube, Steve is up. Steve is up, people. Somehow when I go to YouTube, it's a blank video. It's not showing the video again. That's funny. No audio. Are we getting audio still? That's funny. So let me refresh the page and let's see whether or not Steve is going to allow this video up. You know, like I said, I got a personal YouTube handler going on here.
Do we get paid?
So we just reset it. So let's see if it's going to show. I have to wait a little bit. There's a small lag. I need to see if it's going to show on my side. Because it's showing up in OBS. It's not showing up here. So let me refresh the... Oh, there it is. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. So let's let it play now.
I laugh at the ignorance that people have, man. It's like, it's so funny. You don't have a damn land of your own, but yet you try to find something wrong with the Nation of Islam and Scientology. You just want to jump on everything that has to... Anything that can bring you away from taking responsibility for your own life, your own child, your own family, your own anything, you can jump on it. It's just so amazing. Let me jump into something. Here's something I want to tell you. Number one, no. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did not sell out to a white man. I will debate anyone on Scientology. Anyone, and mind you, I'm being very specific. I know how powerful that is. I will debate anyone. Any scholar. I'm not the scholarly scholar brother, but when it comes to the connection of the Nation of Islam and Scientology or the Church of Scientology, you cannot defeat anything that I will say because I've been studying it for nearly 20 years of my life. Try me. The Nation of Islam is sacred. It is ran by Allah, God, under the authority of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader, and his representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Period. No one sold out to a white man. It's like me saying you sold out because you went to USC. You sold out because you went to UCLA. You donated money to UCLA, knowing that they give you lies, knowing that it was founded by white people, Jews, knowing that it was founded by people who don't give a damn about your community. These white people, you give all this money to all of these universities and these colleges that don't give nothing to you but fake, false information, but you don't complain about that. The Church of Scientology has done more for humankind than most religious groups combined. I'm not defending white people.
I'm gonna let this fresh individual talk.
Doing.
I'm gonna let him get his 3 snaps off.
You can't say nothing to me. I'm sorry, bro.
Go ahead.
I have literally seen it for nearly 15 years of my life, where they have done free service. Most of these damn hurricanes, you don't hear about the fact that they go and they have a section called the volunteer ministers, where they go out and they actually fight and bring food. They bring shelter. They do assist. They pull people out of the rubble. They do all this stuff. They have a drug-free world, which educates millions of people about drugs. They have a life skills and a what's called the Way to Happiness, which is a common sense guide for better living that they bring out, free book that goes over 21 principles of living. Simple things where they go and give this out to millions of people just to help people to live a better life. Not religious, none of this stuff. They have the Youth for Human Rights where they've helped to pass different laws for human rights. Like, bro, they got results, man. And just because they're white, you get pissed off. Let me tell you something. No, I don't like white people because of what their ancestors did. Hell no, I don't like that. But I have to give respect.
I have to pause, man. That pee was unnecessary. That pee was unnecessary. He spit all over his goddamn camera on that shit. White. Goddamn, dude. Calm your ass down. This nigga spit all over that goddamn phone. Hold on, let me back that shit up. They got results, man. And just because they're white, you get pissed off. Let me tell you something. No, I don't like white people because of what their ancestors did. Hell no, I don't like that. But I have to give respect to an individual who does something good. Especially if you do something good for my people. I'm watching you. It doesn't mean I'm going to trust you 100%. Not at all. But it means I'm going to trust what I just saw.
And what I just saw was something good. All right, I'll give that up to you.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to the obvious Malcolm. What was his last name? What's Malcolm's last name? Sorry, I spelled it. Yeah, it's X. Yeah, Malcolm X. Let's go to white people. The famous conversation where he defines white people as devils. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, Riza Islam, is because this is Malcolm X while he was still at the Nation of Islam. This is before his trip to Africa. This is before he started seeing white Muslims and sort of softened his stance. So what he's saying right now is actually the core values of the Nation of Islam that you currently are a part of. So let's hear it.
Now, what does he mean there? Well, number one, he teaches us that that never was a real serpent. It was not a real serpent that went into the garden. What was it? But as you know, the Bible is written in symbols and parables, and this serpent or snake is a symbol that's used to hide the real identity of the one whom that actually was.
Well, who was it?
The white man.
Now, is this your standard teaching?
Yes. He teaches us that the black man by nature is divine.
Now, does this mean that the white man by nature is evil?
By nature, he is other than divine.
Well, now, does this mean that he's evil? Can he do good?
By nature, he is evil.
He cannot do good.
History is best qualified to reward all research, and we don't have any historic example where we have found that they collectively, as a people, have done good.
Do you teach them what you just said to me, that the white man is the symbol of evil?
You can go to any little Muslim child and ask him where is hell or who is the devil, and he wouldn't tell you that hell is down in the ground or that the devil is something invisible that you can't see. He'll tell you hell is right where he has been catching it, and he'll tell you who the one who is responsible for him having received this hell is the devil.
And he would say that this devil is the white man.
Yes.
Kind of problematic there. Kind of problematic there, Riza Islam. So what I was saying while Steve mistakenly cut my mic, you know what I'm saying? Man, this YouTube Steve, man, he is resourceful. But what I was trying to say there with that whole quote from the Bible, I wonder if I still have that up. I can go ahead and show that. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money, but that also applies to the Nation of Islam and Scientology. You can't serve both, sir. Riza Islam, you can't be a house divided, sir. I can bring up that one too if you want to. You can't do both. And the reason why I'm quoting from the Bible, even though I don't personally believe in it, even though I know it's a collection of stolen material from Kemet, even though I know that it's basically a large amount of Hermeticism codified in the Bible. And then you have certain books like Proverbs that are obviously stolen from mystery schools in Kemet and collectivized in a chapter work into the Bible. When you have all that stuff, you, as a whole, you know, it's a work of Saul of Tarsus. You know what I'm saying? The non-apostle who created a pagan religion for the Gentiles. That was completely counter to the actual religion of the claimed Jesus, which was a Judeo religion or Jewish religion. He was the Jewish Messiah. He didn't come to create a brand new religion. He came to fulfill the prophecies in Jewish or Judaism. But anyways, doesn't mean that there aren't very specific facts when you take it apart as piece parts, right? And this is a fact. You cannot serve two masters, sir. You cannot serve two masters. Now, this is where master morality comes in versus slave morality. So this morality is for a slave, right? So a slave cannot serve two masters because a slave has to serve a master, but a master can serve many slaves, right? A master can serve many slaves because a master can divide his time unequally amongst those slaves. So he doesn't have to give his slaves 100%. He can give them 1%. But this is an example of the Nietzschean master-slave morality codified in this work, and that's the reason why this work is a work of slave morality, is what it really truly promotes. But the simple fact of a duality position, that something cannot be hot and cold at the same time, right? It needs to either be hot or cold, right? The polarity of certain things has to be divided at a certain level, right? It does become reconciled at a higher level, but on the lower level, it is not reconciled and it is separate, right? And so you can't be a Nation of Islam supporter as well as a Scientologist person. But this is the person who Mr. Kwame Brown is very excited about seeing. He is the person that Mr. Kwame Brown is happy about being on a panel with. It's a person that Mr. Kwame Brown is very happy about being associated with. Mr. Rizza Islam, Mr. White people are good and wholesome Islam. Yeah, we're going to get there. We got time for everything today. I got time for everything today. So, back up here. There we go. So, we're going to talk about following through, right? So this person is dropping hints about whether or not they're going to stay on YouTube as a platform and this, that, and the third. They're dropping hints about whether or not they're going to be able to stay on there because they're talking about how the channel is being demonetized and all this other craziness in this little show that he was on. He's talking about the fact that they had suspended his Cash Apps during the show and he was giving out, or his Super Chats, and he was giving out his Cash Apps. He was sort of hinting at the fact that he wanted to go over to a podcast. Listen, this individual has nothing but clout to offer, right? He has nothing but clout to offer. He is a distraction in black empowerment entirely. I'm saying it early because, people like Black Authority can't say it unless they have permission to say it, in my opinion, right? They have to wait around to a targeted time to say it because they are too busy trying to see whether or not they truly can eventually hop on his dick. And if they really can't, then they'll if it's confirmed that they can't hop on his dick, then that's when they'll start fighting and throwing up their hands and doing a temper tantrum and doing an exposure video. All right. I'm not like that. If I see fuck shit, I'm calling it out immediately. And I already saw fuck shit with him as soon as I saw that white chick on there. And not just simply because she's white. That has nothing to do with it. I'm just calling it out as a descriptor. The fact that she was a former drug dealing criminal is more relevant to the situation than anything else. Yeah. But as soon as I saw that, I called the individual out, right? But everybody else is trying to take their time because they're trying to see whether or not they're either going to try to avoid the clout that he could use and wield against them, or they're trying to see whether or not they can eventually jump on his dick like Judge Joe Brown did, right? And even Tommy Sotomayor did, because he was technically on his platform, whether they had that fake WWE match or not, right? So we need to leave these people the fuck alone. We need to let these people click off and do their own fucking shit, right? But there's so many ignorant people that they have access to. It's quite discouraging, to be honest. It's quite discouraging, the amount of dumbass people that we have, right? Tariq Nasheed is over here. Let's talk about this. I told you we got time. Got motherfucking time. So we got 21 days left, and this got 21 days left, and this dumbass has gotten $200,000 grifted from the people. In my opinion, grifted. The reason why it's a grift, in my opinion, is because this has no purpose. This serves no function, especially if you're building a Black History Museum in Compton and Crenshaw when it's being gentrified, and it's probably going to be filled with white people and white Latinos and everything but impoverished Black people, descendants of American slaves who could possibly enjoy that museum. But, you know, whether or not that admission is going to be for a fee or not, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that it's going to have like a membership cost or something like that. So many problems when you're talking about the wealth position, right? In LA specifically, right? Because you can look at things like what we get wrong about closing the racial wealth gap that actually has a specific academically created poll or survey of the wealth within the community that this museum is being placed. And the fact that you're even asking for money from those individuals is hilarious. The only people in LA only Black people in LA who have significant amounts of money to donate to this would be Nigerians, non-descendants of American slaves, not descendants of American slaves. We don't have the money for this. But the fact that we don't have the money for it is irrelevant in the fact that you still need $7 million. You're only asking for one. You're only asking for one right here. But you need 7 more after this. Don't worry about the fact that this is in, I think this is in French francs, or is that euro? If so, the euro is definitely down because I thought this was $1 million, not this. But anyways, you're gonna need $7 million more dollars. $6 million more dollars after you're done with this. You're gonna need $6 million more dollars after you're done with this. Are you gonna do another campaign and another campaign and another campaign? And another thing I have a problem with is this. You see, because you can't actually discriminate racially when you're doing stuff like this, right? Well, not this. Sorry, I'm kind of sleepy. Let's move over. I'm talking about this. You can't do any sort of racial discrimination associated with this. So if, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 10 white people decide to give you $10,000 each just to guarantee that they're on the advisory board for the Hidden History Museum, you can't deny them as a 501c3 company. You can't deny them in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Now they are part of the advisory board. And if they are part of the advisory board and you decide that you're going to discriminate against them, they can now sue you. So preemptively, I'm going to assume that you're not going to discriminate against them and you're actually going to allow them to be full active members of the advisory board, which means that the Hidden History Museum could potentially have several white members, descendants of American slave members, as a part of their advisory board, with only a small $10,000 donation. $10,000 in small doesn't apply to descendants of American slaves. That applies to white America at large. I'm fairly confident that they can get together $50,000 just to guarantee that 5 white people are having their noses all up in the business. But this is what I'm talking about. This individual is trying so hard to get up this money from the people that he's giving away this. He's allowing this to be purchasable. And while all these people who are following him and throwing up FBA signs are all looking on this side of the equation, right? And they're trying to figure out, how I can get $50 or $100. They're ignoring this part of the equation, right? Just because you can't afford this as a black person doesn't mean that a white person who wants to be an agent for white supremacy can't buy this. And if they can buy this, that means that every single thing that's going on is now being shared with those people who are supposed to be the enemy. So how is he, or the enemy of reparations, and let me be very specific. So how is he going to be a champion of reparations when he's potentially allowing those same white supremacists onto his advisory board to this museum? So if this advisory board recommends something, I mean, what's the bylaw? See, that's why when he was talking about all this Zip Coon stuff, right? And he was trying to talk all this pimp talk on the actual, what you call, oh yeah, we're going to press play. I got time today. I got time. I got fucking time. I need to be asleep, but fuck it. I got time. We're going to hit play on this janky ass commercial and go over that too. But with all these people trying to say the shit that they're saying about the video, they're not realizing that he basically gave away the farm right here. This may not be easy for you as a descendant of American slave, but I guarantee you this is not hard for a white person who wants to be a nice little eye for white supremacy. This ain't hard. $10,000 ain't hard for them. They can get up $10,000. They can get together. They can get together 6 of their friends in L.A., get up $60,000 and go ahead and give it to them in bulk. They can do that. Just to guarantee that they have an eyes and ears on what's going on. Yeah, they can easily do that. And with all of your donations, even if collectively you've given away, think about this. Think about this. Think about this, black people. Think about this. So y'all can give Tariq Nasheed $900,000. And 10 white people can give Tariq Nasheed $100,000. And those 10 white people will have more of a say of what happens with this museum than all of y'all combined, even though you combined to give him 9 times the amount of money as those white people. According to this offer right here, those 10 permanent advisory board members would have more power, control, and influence over the matters of this, than you. And he's trying to say, well, all this little Zip Coon shit, oh, well, if you're asking about the bylaws and you're asking about this and that and the third, you're a Zip Coon and blah, 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 blah. That pimp talk was for the purpose of keeping you guys from not thinking about this. Because with this, you need to ask the question, well, who can be, if anybody can buy this, if a white racist decides to buy it, what's your bylaws about getting this person off? If they're on the advisory board, what role do they serve? What role do they serve? Under what under what rules will they operate? Right? Those are questions that you need to ask, and have answered. But he's trying not to answer them to you publicly, because I guarantee you that if a white person was thinking to themselves, hey, I'm thinking about giving $10,000, but I need to know all of these questions, even though he had an example of $100,000, and that person asking questions, right? I guess he was pantomiming a black person and having $100,000 and asking those types of questions. But if a white person right now, I guarantee you, decides to hit up Instagram right now, which I probably should do, should probably make a fake account, right, with a white person on there and hit him up on Instagram or on Twitter and see whether or not he'll provide those bylaws to me, if I'm a white person, or if I appear to be a white person, and I'm interested in giving him $10,000 for the advisory board. I guarantee you I get a zip file with all of that in. You talk about some Zip Coon, I will get a zip file within the hour. I guarantee you. And he would follow up personally, like, hey, when you gonna send that $10,000? You gonna send it today or tomorrow? What's going on? When you gonna send it? That's exactly what the fuck would happen. All right. So that white person who is potentially even considering this position on this hidden history museum, right, is gonna have more control, more power, more influence than everybody who's donated before him. So let's go ahead and do the unthinkable. I'm going to be laughing. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be laughing. It's late at night. I'm talking mostly with my eyes halfway open, or at least one eye open, doing the Popeye. All right? But I got time. You can hear it in my voice. I got time, right? My body can be damned. My body is trying to get as sleep as it can, but I got time. So I'm gonna be laughing my ass off in the background. I'm gonna try to let this go as much as possible. I saw a piece of this already. I think this is the commercial right here. So you know, oh Lord, whew, the suit. That's all I gotta say. The suit. Anyways, let's go ahead and hear what Tariq has to say about the money that he wants for this all black obelisk.
Greetings, family. This is Tariq Nasheed. I am your community service. Right now, I am in South Los Angeles.
I'm sorry. This nigga look like he hawking chicken wings at a new chicken joint. And fucking maybe I'm hungry. I don't know. But this nigga sound like he hawking a restaurant. What the fuck? He walking down the street like this. Like it's a public access television PSA. What the fuck?
Greetings, family. This is Tariq Nasheed. I am your community service. Right now, I am in South Los Angeles.
Nigga, how many takes was this? I'm sorry. Why is he enunciating his words like this? How many takes was this? Back up. I'm sorry. Back up.
Greetings, family. This is Tariq Nasheed. I am your community service. Right now, I am in South Los Angeles on the world-famous Crenshaw Boulevard. And with your help, we want to build...
And you know, the funny thing is, we could track this when this was done. Since this nigga changed his hairstyle more than a chick, we could figure out when he had this type of hairstyle right here. And we could figure out when this was filmed. You understand this, Tariq? We could date this film based off of your hairstyle, dude. This nigga... Man, I was saying he's a multimillionaire, but why is this suit fitting like this? This nigga, back up. Oh God.
Greetings, family. This is Tariq Nasheed. I am your community service. Right now, I am in South Los Angeles on the world-famous Crenshaw Boulevard. And with your help, we want to build the...
He got the graffiti over to the side, man. He trying to give the the under construction vibe. This nigga got the Ivy League school blue on khaki. Oh God, what the fuck is this? There's so many things wrong with this. There's so many things wrong with this.
First ever
oh God, it's too late.
History Museum right here in the Leimert Park area of Los Angeles, which is the cultural epicenter of Black Los Angeles. Right here on Crenshaw Boulevard.
Let's back up, and thankfully YouTube does have a what's got. Let's see some of these.
Angeles.
Hold on, nigga. Hold on, pimp. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. See, YouTube's trying to do some stupid janky shit. All right, so let me do that. Let's see these images again. Let's see these images of what you were showing. Oh yeah, we slowing. I told you we got time today. The cultural epicenter. Okay, a cultural epicenter, and the very first thing that you showed was Nipsey Hussle. Okay, I had a Nipsey Hussle video up. I took that shit down because I had to reconsider whether or not I wanted to have an active gang member showing up on my channel. I didn't, so I deleted it. So the very first thing is you showed a Nipsey Hussle mural, and then you did an aerial shot from your Best Buy probably purchased drone. And what's next? Whoa, back up. Another Nipsey Hussle reference. Okay, so this is what Tariq Nasheed considers culture. No, I got time. How many times? I got time. Okay, them quick cuts. No, ain't no quick cutting with me. Okay, so we have, what is that? Is that a Bojangles? I don't know what restaurant that is. But we got a Nipsey Hussle mural. Let's remember this mural, because just in case they're using it multiple times. Some sort of drive-up restaurant with the Nipsey Hussle mural on. Okay, let's do that. Okay. A Buddha Liquor and Market. Do I need to? Let me see. Who is in here? Who is in here? Isis, you still in here? Hold on. Who's still in here? Who's still in here? Who's seeing this? Who's seeing this, please? Please tell me who's seeing this. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let that shit just marinate for a second. This nigga wanted to show quick images of cultural center, and there's a fucking liquor store. Who's in here? Who sees this? Am I crazy? Oh no, look at YouTube. Look at YouTube trying to stop it. Nah, YouTube. Nah. Nah, YouTube. Look at YouTube trying to stop it from being there because they have a little buffer in. They ain't got a little buffer going on. Look at Steve. Steve is trying to do his job. There's a goddamn Buddha Liquor and Market shown up in flashed images of him saying that this is the cultural center of fucking Crenshaw. So a liquor store is the cultural is a mark of the cultural center of fucking Crenshaw. The fuck? The fuck? And this is how he's promoting his goddamn museum, with an image of a liquor store spliced in with let's just go there, spliced in with the image of a known gang member. Okay. All right. That's how we're posting, and that's how we're promoting that Crenshaw is a cultural center. You're showing a Buddha Liquor and Market. Okay. Another Nipsey Hussle mural that is not necessarily, we don't know where this is, but another Nipsey Hussle mural. Okay. Is that another Nipsey Hussle mural? Is that yet another Nipsey Hussle mural? Okay. Okay. So the cultural center associated with this is just Nipsey Hussle and a fucking liquor store. Okay. All right. Cool. This is what this cultural leader in black empowerment believes is examples of Crenshaw's cultural. Back it up. Lamert Park. Oh, Lord. Let's back it up. Let's play it at normal speed. Boy, I tell you, that just woke me up entirely. I went from one eye to two. Oh, no. You see how fast they tried to do that? No. Back up. Now that we know what we're looking for, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Now we know what we're looking for. Let's just go a little bit slower there, Tariq, so we can put those two things together.
Area of Los Angeles, which is the cultural epicenter of Black Los Angeles. Right here on Crenshaw.
All right. So somebody thought and you approved showing a goddamn liquor store as an example of the cultural epicenter of Lamert Park. Excuse me. Get the fuck out of here. Boy, I tell you. And somebody don't give you $200,000 for this shit. Somebody's stuck on stupid.
Boulevard, right here, there's an empty lot for sale, and it's in the perfect location for our Hidden History Museum.
Don't make me pull out Google Maps. Don't make me pull out Google Maps. I'm trying to let this finish. Hold on. Let me just try to let this finish. Hold on. Because otherwise, oof.
We want to acquire this lot so that we can build your community museum. There's museums that touch on Black history, but they don't get too deep into it. This will be the first grassroots owned and controlled Black history museum in the world. In our museum, we want to touch on a lot of things that are not touched on in other museums. There's such vast history of Black people here in Los Angeles that we're going to touch on alone. For example, Pio Pico, who was the once governor of California. There's a street, Pico Boulevard, named after him. He had Black ancestry.
Okay. He had Black ancestry. Okay. You showed a photo. You told us his name. You said he has Black ancestry. Okay. Do we need anything else? Is knowing about this individual going to help out the Black people who live around the fucking corner from this fucking museum? What the fuck is knowing this individual going to help anybody in that community?
Francisco Reyes, who was the first mayor of Los Angeles, he had Black ancestry.
Who gives a flying fuck if he had Black ancestry? How does that have anything to do with anything? How is that going to help anybody? Okay, so the first mayor had Black ancestry. It sounds like you're building a fucking museum around tokenism. This is a museum to tokenism. Who cares? Did they advocate for reparations? If not, I'll circle back around to them if I have time. If I don't have time for the rest of my life to figure out about these individuals, then I guess I don't have time. Who gives a fuck? Oh, God.
Reyes, who was the first mayor of Los Angeles, he had Black ancestry. The grandmother of Los Angeles, Biddy Mason, who was a former slave.
These goddamn zoom-ins, boy. These goddamn zoom-ins, boy. Whoever did the video, you better sit your ass down somewhere. You ain't making this more exciting. You talking about 3 fucking people. You want $1 million for 3 fucking people that are probably already being shown in the Los Angeles Museum of History, or they could put up a 3 fucking exhibits in that fucking museum right now. And then what's the purpose of you having yours? If the Los Angeles History Museum decides to put up these individuals in their museum, why the fuck do you need $1 million for yours? Can you explain that? The fuck?
Ancestry. The grandmother of Los Angeles, Biddy Mason, who was a former slave who became the wealthiest woman in California. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff in the museum.
So we're going to talk about it. Okay. This nigga's posing. This nigga's posing. Oh, God. This nigga got the mushroom haircut from fucking Mario Brothers. This nigga think he's modeling. What the fuck? Nigga's trying to audition for his own music video, Mink Slide, for a second time.
Who became the wealthiest woman in California.
Who cares if she became the most wealthiest person?
Also in the museum, we're going to have 5 basic sections. We're going to have a master teacher section where we talk about the teachings of John Henry Clark.
Okay, so that's going to be one exhibit for 3 months, 4 months.
Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Amos Wilson. We're going to have another section for Black Inventor, Cress Welsing section, where we talk about...
What the wow. I'm going to have to. Guys. I'm going to have to. Because we need to put this shit on record. The more I watch this shit, the more and more awake I'm becoming. Like literally, I am not going to sleep because I'm finding out so much shit here. And today I got fucking time. What the fuck is this I'm seeing? Look at Steve. He sees it too. Look at Steve. He sees it too. He sees it. Steve sees it over there. He's trying to YouTube. Steve sees this. He's trying to stop me from highlighting this. He's trying to stop me from highlighting this. Oh, we going zooming all the way in because I want to see if I see what I think I see. Let's zoom in some more. Yes. Who the fuck is that? Is that a bust of Caesar? Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? Oh, there's writing. Oh, we're going to zoom in even further. We're going to try to see if we can read this writing. Because, you know, Tariq Nasheed thought that it was so fucking important. So, to get this right, can we read this? Johan something? Johanna something. Something. But that is definitely not a black man. Or it doesn't appear to be. I don't know who the fuck that is. Let's keep on going down the line. What the fuck is that? Is that just a bust of modern art? I don't know who the fuck that is. None whatsoever. Who the fuck that is. And then you have some pasted images over here of John Henry Clark. Okay. Let me zoom back out. Trying to be slick. Let's look at the actual room itself. Because what the fuck is this room designed for? I'm not an architect. But what the fuck? So if I go into the museum and I'm in this section of the fucking museum, what I'm seeing 3 busts and I'm seeing a seating area and I'm seeing photos of John. So is the museum basically teleprompters? Because if that's the case, you could put the shit online. Like if you're not getting in contact with the estate of John Henry Clark and actually getting like his manuscripts and everything else, which I don't know, may already be at another museum, like the Black History Museum in Washington, D.C. It could possibly be there. But if you're not putting on display historical items and all you're doing is showing visual history on teleprompters, you could do that online. There seems to be a seating area over here. But what exactly is the seating area supposed to be for? So it's the master teacher area. It just seems like, what the fuck? We got a white guy over here. We have a modern art bust over here. We have some anonymous person over here. And then they took JPEGs of John Henry Clark, turned them black and white, and then stuck them on the side of the wall. There's nothing in the middle here other than master teachers. Okay, great. And then a seating area. Oh, God. And you want $7 million for this shit. I hope that this is not indicative of what this is actually going to look like. Let's keep it rolling.
About the teachings of John Henry Clark.
Okay. We have a sitting area further, a little recess in the roof. Okay. Non-matching wood. Some janky ass mid-century modern furniture that probably doesn't match the style.
Welsing, Dr. Amos.
Okay.
Wilson. We're going to have another section for black inventors. We're going to talk about the black people who invented things like.
Wait. Why is the wood paneling in here reminiscent of a goddamn trailer home? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Back up.
Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Amos Wilson. We're going to have another section for black inventors. We're going to talk about the black people who invented things like.
Listen, don't make me slow this bitch down.
The modern toilet system.
Who cares?
The modern home security system, and so much more. We're also going to have a section talking about black explorers.
Okay. So we're giving you $1 million thus far, or $7 million, which is what you are ultimately requesting, in order for you to give us a seating area outside of photos of John Henry Clark, outside of teleprompter videos of master teachers. All right. Then we're having a quick little section of black inventors that, again, the black inventors and their inventions are probably already on display at another museum, probably in DC, definitely in LA. There's probably a exhibit for black inventors within those museums already. So what are you providing for this museum that's different than those individuals? I mean, than those other museums? What artifacts are you doing associated with that? See, I could possibly give a better idea, but why would I give it a better idea to a janky motherfucker like him? Why? There's a better use for a commercial structure in a predominantly black, or at least right now, community. Better use, especially for $7 million. Much better use, especially if you're not, vain and want it downtown and you're willing to go outside of town in order to have a little bit more land. There's a large amount of things you can do. Why would I give that information to you, though? You think that this is a very good use of money? Oh, Lord Jesus.
We're going to talk about the black people who invented things like the modern refrigeration system.
We slowing this shit down. You trying to be slick. You're trying to be slick. Let's see these. Let's see these signed off and approved drawings or promotional material that you have. Why does this look so? Oh, so this is black inventors, huh? So an L-shaped, oversized. So how inefficiently is the space in this building being used, right? This is supposed to be a museum. This ain't nothing more than posters on a wall in an oversized room. All right, y'all didn't even mock this up with anything in the middle. So why is this building so big if the exhibitions are so small? Right now we're on to our second exhibition area. The other one was small, but it had nothing in it. So y'all are basing all this stuff off of teleprompters. You're hoping to get artifacts. That's going to cost more money. You know that, right? You know, for all the things that are in these museums, if it's not donated, the museum is actually paying for those things to be there, right? In some form or fashion, whether it be holding it there and they're just paying for some sort of insurance to house it there, or something like that, or the upkeep or maintenance. But essentially, they're paying to have that stuff there, right? Not only that, but then you're paying the curator, because people are not going to give you actually museum quality historical items if you don't have somebody who can actually take care of those items, right? So you would have to link up with the museum loaning system in order to actually have actual artifacts in that museum if it's going to be operated as such. But why is the room so oversized? I mean, the person who did the goddamn markup thought that this was all going to be the only lighting in the room. 2 strips of 3 roof light track lights. That's all you got for a large ass room. Oh Lord, y'all did this in SketchUp. What did y'all do this in? What the fuck did y'all do? What am I watching? Wait, so this is the section that he's talking about so far as black inventors. This wall, this section of the wall is black inventors, mostly photos, not really many artifacts, not any really activities, a transition to carpet for whatever reason. This is the wall for black inventors. There's another black history of black rebels, just another wall full of photos, right? There's a large issue with Nelson Mandela. Who else does he have up there? Who else? Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in for a second. Who else? I see Nelson Mandela. Who the fuck is that in the middle? Who knows? I guess I have to go to the Hidden History Museum in order to figure these people out. That looks like Shaka Zulu. I'm not 100% sure, but that looks like Shaka Zulu. It's probably some, I don't know who the first guy is either. Okay. Some random photos. People I could probably search on DuckDuckGo. There's nothing here so far as artifacts as well. They didn't even mock up any display cases up in this room. They just put up wood planks on the, what the fuck am I watching? But he wants $1 million for this. He actually wants $7 million. He wants $1 million right now.
The black people who invented things like the modern refrigeration system, the modern toilet system, the modern home security system, and so much more. We're also going to have a section talking about black explorers. We're going to talk about people like Estevanico the Moor, who was very instrumental in discovering, talking about black explorers, the modern refrigeration system, the modern toilet system, the modern home security system, and so much more. We're also going to...
Oh, so that's black rebels. And so this is basically going to be pockets of things on the wall, along the wall. Okay.
To have a section talking about black explorers. We're going to talk about people like Estevanico the Moor, who was very instrumental in discovering a lot of spaces here in the North American continent. Speaking of Moors, we're going to talk about the black Moors who conquered Southern Europe. The black Moors are never talked about in museums. This is going to be the first time it's talked about in our...
Oh, really? So you just made a claim. Let's see if it's true. Moors Museum. See how this works. You make a claim. You got to see whether or not it's true. Looks like it's not true. This pisses me off. This reminds me of Kwame Brown misrepresenting Geechee people. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there because that's going to be just a curse fest. But anyways, looks like that's not true. Looks like that Moore exhibit is in the National Museum of African American History. and culture in Washington, D.C. Looks like that's already there, buddy. But let's keep on going.
Our museum. We're also going to have a section talking about black rebel leaders, like the Black Seminoles, like other black Maroons. We're also going to have a section talking about the real history of black music, particularly the foundational black American history of hip-hop. I produced a lot of best-selling documentary films, including the Hidden Color series. So a lot of things that's in our documentary films, a lot of best-selling documentary films.
I'm just shaking my head. I'm just shaking my head on most of this stuff. I ain't even much talking. There ain't nothing wrong with my mic. Jesus fucking Christ. And he wants $7 million for this shit. So for a bottom floor with a whole bunch of pocket wall sections, he wants $7 million. And an upstairs, I've already saw this part, upstairs with a little viewing thing so he can view his boy.
Including the Hidden Color series. So a lot of things that's in our documentary films are going to be featured in the museum. And speaking of the films, we're going to have a screening room upstairs in the museum where we can screen our films on a regular basis. We're also going to have large meeting rooms where we can have conferences and community events for the people. Not only will this museum be a great cultural institution, this museum is going to be a great tourist attraction that will help revitalize a lot of the black businesses that are already here. But family, we need your help. We need at least $7 million.
How many black businesses are there, Tariq? Let's see those black businesses on that main thoroughfare. Because I guarantee you that a large amount of the claimed black businesses on that street are probably owned by white Latinos, or owned by Asians, or owned by other ethnicities and races. They are definitely not owned on that major thoroughfare. They're definitely not majority owned by a whole bunch of black people. So what black businesses are you trying to indirectly help by plopping down a $7 million brand new commercial construction next to their property that they are probably renting from or renting at? How are you helping them? The only thing that you're doing by plopping that big ass building commercial structure next to theirs is raising their rents, and therefore you're helping gentrification. But tell me specifically what black business within a block of this motherfucking proposed commercial structure is going to be helped, and how, by this commercial structure. This just seems like a bottom floor pocket shit and an upstairs theater, and he want I guarantee no, I'm not gonna go there. Wow. I'm being made awake, and I'm also tired mentally. Jesus fucking Christ. I didn't even pick this shit apart for real, for real. I thought this was just gonna be a laugh. This is sad. This is sad.
To get this project completed, and we're going to start doing everything in stages. We need at least $1 million in the first phase to get the museum project off the ground so that we can acquire the land. Everybody who contributes to the museum, we're going to have a wall in the museum with the names of all the donors. So your name is going to be built into the foundation of the museum. So we need you to get involved. There's going to be
It's not going to be all the donors, and that's the reason why they didn't have a whole bunch of names there. Let's look and see how much it'll cost. So I think that's the $5,000 limit. Name and image featured. Ad, business promotion, 1 year membership, 6 month membership, special thanks on a wall. Okay. So here, it's a $50 special thanks on a wall. No problem. Okay, perfect. Don't it didn't say how long that'll stay there or how long that'll be up, but there you go. You got that. Cool. $50. All right.
A lot of other perks as well. So everybody get involved. Let's make history. Let's take control of our own community and our own history. Get involved with the Hidden History.
Get involved. Wow, that was a huge, weird sales pitch. Let's try that again. Let's hear that again.
So we need you to get involved. There's going to be a lot of other perks as well. So everybody get involved. Let's make history. Let's take control of our own community and our own history. Get involved with the Hidden History Museum.
Oh, so he said get involved 3 times. Look at the Kool-Aid smile on his face. Like, give me $1 million, niggas. Yeah. Let's try this again.
The donors. So your name is going to be built into the foundation of the museum. So we need you to get involved. There's going to be a lot of other perks as well. So everybody get involved. Let's make history. Let's take control of our own community and our own history. Get involved with the Hidden History Museum right now.
So he said get involved 3 times and then said history 3 times as well. So that cross promotes his hidden history line, which is what he just showed up, and also references the museums, the history portion of the museum 3 times as well. No, notice the game. Notice the game.
So everybody get involved. Let's make history. Let's take control of our own community and our own history. Get involved with the Hidden History Museum right now.
Boy, I tell you. Boy, I tell you. Let me say something. Let me say something very clearly. The entirety of this museum could have been done by literally a mailing campaign to the already existing African American History Museum in Washington, D.C. All you have to do is a mailing campaign and say, hey, we want to feature XYZ. And they'll be like, okay, no problem. If this is exhibits that you think is good for the African American History Museum and you plan on patronizing the African American History Museum, then we'll definitely do those types of exhibits. There's nothing that's going to be unique at all at that Hidden History Museum other than the fact that it's going to have a commercial tie-in to his Hidden History videos and DVDs. So this is a vanity project, in my opinion. It's a vanity project entirely. This is not really something that's needed. It's not going to actually help with reparations. It's going to be a fucking waste of money from every single person who provides money. And based off of the photos that I'm seeing, it looks like it's going to be just tacky and janky, which is something you just can't put a price on. So this is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous that anybody is putting up any fucking money whatsoever to this goddamn museum, especially when this motherfucker has not done a goddamn thing to push legislation or reparations in any real fucking way other than bringing it up as a hashtag in order for him to get clout. No tangibles, no vote is not reparations or else. It is not cut my reparations check. Even cut the check. What check, nigga? The check for you and your Indiegogo? No. It needs to be very fucking specific. We need reparations for slavery, for compensation for descendants of American slaves, so that we don't have to turn to boule niggas like you in order to do some janky ass motherfucking vanity project. You essentially just want us to build you a fucking theater, and as compensation, you gonna do you gonna give us a hidden history museum on the bottom floor with a whole bunch of readily available history. There is nobody that you're going to be providing as a part of this history that's not already researched. You know how I know? You know how I know? Because it takes real fucking PhD level fucking historical review and work in order for you to uncover these fucking people that's supposed to be hidden. Because if they're hidden to historians, stupid. Who's the historian that's going to be a part of this? Who's the academic level historian? Who's the academic level curator? Who are these people that are also going to be associated with this? Or is this just simply us building you a fucking black, a vanity project, a fucking, a black building that happens to house your fucking theater room? Like, what is this? You got white statues in the mock-up from what it appears. What? How much effort was put into this? How much effort was put into this? You couldn't find a firm. I'm gonna get real basic. I'm gonna get real up in your face with this one. You couldn't find a firm that worked in Unreal 5 or Unreal 4 that could actually do a better job of replicating internals. Let me. No. You opened up a motherfucking can of worms. I got time. I told you. I keep on telling you. I got time. So let's back up here to YouTube. Let's go YouTube. Let's go Unreal. See, y'all think, I told you, intelligence is about cross-referencing. Architectural tour. This is an Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 4 is definitely something that is very old. This is a real-time mock-up. You mean to tell me, why can't Tariq Nasheed do this? Told you I got time. Told you I got time. See the quality. Let's turn off the music. There we go. See, I got time. See, I got time. Look at that. So here's another follow-up question there, Tariq. If there are architectural engines like this that exist that allow for people to virtually walk through a museum, why isn't the museum an all virtual experience so that everybody can enjoy it? That's something that you can build for a lot less than $1 million, especially if you're not really going to have any artifacts there either. And even if you were going to have artifacts there, you know the solution to that? You know the solution to that, sir? Oh, okay. You probably don't. But yeah, you're noticing that this is all real time and it looks a hell of a lot better than that janky ass commercial that we saw, right? Because I don't know why you want $7 million for it, but you can't even hire a firm that can do this basic ass shit. But you know, another thing you could do, even if you did have artifacts, right? There we go. Where is it? Where is it? We'll do a quick example. There we go, under 4 minutes. So what you could do with just simply photos of those artifacts is you could do stuff like this. And all you need is a person taking photos. All you need is a drone that's around it, taking photos of artifacts. You can do the exact same thing. See that? See that? And with that alone, you can actually do all the artifacts. You can do a 360 of the artifact. You can put it in 3D space. So if you could do all of that, which you can with technology readily available for a lot less than $7 million, why are you asking for $7 million, sir? Why the fuck are you asking for $7 million? Why the fuck are you asking for $7 million? Ooh, God. Hold on. Indiegogo. No. Not Indeed. Indiegogo. There we go. Let's go back here.
Conferences and community events for the people. Not only will this museum be a great cultural institution, this museum is going to be a great tourist attraction that will help revitalize a lot of the black businesses that are already here. The Hidden History Museum right now.
Man, if he ever runs for office, the comedy gold will be overflowing. But basically, with the advent of, I don't know, virtual reality and Oculus eyewear, there's no real reason for you to actually have a physical location whatsoever, sir. There's no reason for you to be asking for $7 million from an impoverished people, sir, in order for them to look at janky-ass presentations on a fucking janky-ass wall in an oversized building, sir. There's no reason for any of that shit at all, especially during a pandemic. There's two much cheaper ways of going about this. One, asking and demanding the African American History Museum to do those things with having a donation drive for them, or having your own hidden history museum that's completely virtual. And in both of those cases, it's a hell of a lot less money than giving you $7 million for a fucking museum. But this is the type of shit that's allowed. Like, you know, Dr. Umar and all these people who grift, right? They're allowed to grift. So long as they're taking money from black people, they don't give a fuck. White people don't give a fuck. Oh, you grifting? Oh, wait. You grifting from black people? Oh, okay, cool. Keep on doing that. You're doing God's work over there if you're grifting from black people. Keep that up. If you're grifting, so it's solely black people you taking money from. All right, perfect. Keep that up. You're good. That's what's allowed with Tariq Nasheed. That's what's allowed with Kwame Brown. That's what's allowed with all these other people. That's what's allowed. If you're taking money, or if there's even a possibility of you taking money from black people unnecessarily, my opinion. All of this is my opinion. Every single thing that's ever been said up until this point, everything that will be said is my opinion and is not to be taken as factual. Let me put that blanket statement out there. But it's my opinion that these people are allowed to do what they're doing. They are allowed to do what they're doing. So what I want to conclude on this, because I had time and I don't have time anymore. I'm pissed and kind of annoyed. My conclusion is very, very simple. Just always ask yourself. I don't care what the hell the situation is. I don't care what the hell the grift is. I don't care what the hell the situation is or what somebody's saying they're in opposition to. Always remember what somebody showed you the first time. Believe them the first time. All right. Kwame showed you who he is already. Tariq has showed you who he is. TBA, Professor Black Truth, all these people, Roland Martin, all these people have shown you who they are. Never forget it. Never turn a blind eye to it. Don't give them a second chance, and do like I've already done with YouTube and start making some permanent action with regards to those individuals. Like permanently unsubscribing to those individuals, or at least permanently always questioning what you're seeing so far as their content is concerned, instead of just swallowing it whole and acting on it even on a subconscious level, right? Start picking that stuff apart, but you're going to have to put in action, real action, concrete action behind your beliefs. You can't just sit up there and spout your beliefs and then expect to have no action behind it. I believe that YouTube is a janky ass platform, and if you can look on my platform right now, you don't see any of my personal content. Anything that's still up there will be deleted between now and tomorrow. And the only thing that's up there is going to be my political content. If they want to monetize that, go ahead and monetize it. Great, thank you. You want to go ahead and put that in front of somebody for intermittent reinforcement? Great, thank you. But I'm not going to be a part of distracting other people with stupid shit, or using my most precious shit and putting it on something that I feel is a janky ass platform. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm not going to be participating in that anymore. I'm not going to play around with that anymore. So the only thing that YouTube is going to get from me is this. You want to use it? Great. You don't want to use it? Fuck you. When it comes down to Kwame Brown and all these other people, I'm going to constantly have my eyes and ears open on these motherfuckers to see exactly how they're operating and how they're moving. And I know who they are. Nothing that happens or no sort of false enemies of that they want to bring in front of me is going to change my viewpoint of who they are. I know who they are. They are janky people who are not to be trusted. Period. And so I'm going to treat them accordingly. I'm going to treat them accordingly. And I suggest that you do the exact same. So I've covered a large amount. I'm going to chuck this over to Steve at YouTube. I'm going to tell him to kiss my ass and have him figure out a way to store all of this shit. And I'm going to go ahead and get me some rest. But thank you for being a part of this. Anyways, I'm out.